So hey guys, what's up? So in this video I just wanted to bring you guys a basic video guide. It's a JavaScript project which is to be called a email manager. Now you can call this a social media manager, or you can call it like anything you want. It's sort of a program or an application that helps you to add your social media, your email address and the password so you don't forget it. So it's sort of a very basic, not a very basic video. It's just a step up. You're gonna learn about local storage and stuff in this. So obviously we're gonna do this with JavaScript. So I'll show you guys how it basically works. So you can add your social medias. Now I can add my Twitter, and the email I use for it is raj666@gmail.com, and I can say a password. I'll say raj1234, and once I click on add, okay, so just say never save it. So once I click on add, this will just add a new div saying at the heading, which is a Twitter, and then it says what Gmail address I use and which what password then I use, and I have a delete button to delete it. Okay, so which is pretty simple, and you can add as much as you want. Now I just refresh it, and if I want another one, which is a Facebook, and if I use this another email address, so I can have like various Gmail address, maybe the same thing rather than 666@gmail.com, because that's really practical. So in the password I can have the same password, raj123 and 4. Yeah, once I click add, and it will also add another there, which is a Facebook one. So how much you refresh, it doesn't really it doesn't go. It's because we're gonna do this in with local storages. So pretty simple project to build, I guess. And I want to actually show you okay, so no, it's fine. So yeah, this is a very basic project, and also you're gonna learn a bit in JavaScript. And also I'm using, this is actually the Bootstrap theme. Now this is actually I'm using Bootstrap to do it, so which is pretty easy. I'm not gonna spend time on CSS as obviously. And I'm using something called the sign in, which has the Bootstrap's website. They have a theme on sign in, so I just downloaded it, and the code is right there in VS Code, so it's pretty easy, and I'll just go over it anyway. So yeah, this is what we're going to be building. It's sort of responsive, not at its best, but but it's just working. And also guys, now if you want to delete it, you can simply delete Twitter. If you want to delete Twitter, you can delete it, and it's just going to delete it. And if you want to delete Facebook as well, you can delete the Facebook. And if you click add, it's just gonna, if you don't have anything, like you didn't fill anything out, and if you just add it, it's gonna say please fill the forms correctly. Okay, so it's gonna do something like that. So this is what we're gonna be building, pretty cool project. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just gonna put it up like here, so then it's like that, so I can work in the sides. Or I guess now I want to show you guys the index.html. I have one file, index.html app.js, which is actually the empty file. We have nothing, so this is what we're going to be coding. So in this index.html, I'm going to show you guys. Basically I have a title, and I have linked my Bootstrap CSS, which is right here, Bootstrap, and inside this it's there CSS. So if this is because I don't have any, I'm not connected to internet, so I don't I have downloaded the basic file for it. I've actually downloaded the zip file. But you have internet, it's pretty easy for you. You don't need to download anything. You just want to copy the CDN and just paste it up. It's just a link. You can go to bootstrap.com and just paste the CDN, pretty easy. Okay, and then alright guys, and then we have some fabric. We don't need this, right? You can just delete it, but it's just come with a template, and everything, all of this just comes with the template, so it's pretty easy. And the styles are here, some media styles and all of that. And then we have a custom CSS. Bootstrap also gives us some custom CSS, so which is in our CSS folder. Sign in our CSS, which is around like 45 lines of code, just some sort of a simple styling, like the background and some margins. Okay, and then now this is where the important part comes. Okay, now this, we're just going to be working with these 3 input boxes. In this only we're going to get the information and make a div and do a hell of a lot of stuff. So what I want you to consider, we have a label and all, so that doesn't really matter. But I want is this input box, email address, this is the input box. Okay, this is for input social. Okay, and which has which is email address. Wait, really? Which we'll be changing it. Yeah, but still this social, and this should be social media. But anyway, I'll just change it a bit later. So So yeah, let me just do it right now. Social social media. Okay, so it's a social media. So that's just I actually didn't open this up, so I'll just open it up and show you guys. All right, so we have an input right there for the social. So this is a label, so you don't really want to care about this. You can have anything, it's not going to work. So only I want is this input type. So this one, which has an ID of input social, so anyone who's going to input inside this, I'm going to get all the values and save it up here. Okay, so then now we have, then the second one, we have the email, which has a type of an email and ID of input email. So we want this one right there. We're going to fetch it up from we're gonna get it from the DOM using a JavaScript, whatever is inside. And then we also have a password which has an ID of input password. Okay, so which is pretty easy, and I'm just gonna get rid of this because we don't need it. Okay, just save it up. Okay, and I'll just come to that point while I'm doing it. So it's pretty easy. I'm gonna say this input tags, which is input password. So that's what we want, and simply we have a button. Okay, that's just simply it. And obviously this is a form, so you should make sure you have a type of submit to it button. So we're gonna here for a submit and work. So I'll just do it in JavaScript, guys, no worries. And yeah, that's just it for this. Like, it's pretty simple with this add button and all. Okay, so now we have another div, and this div has a class of row marketing div with a class of column empty/4, so just bootstrap. And then in this div we have info results. So in this div is what we're going to be adding whatever we want. Like for example, in this this is where we're going to be adding the bootstrap here, the sorry, not the bootstrap. We're going to add all of this. We're going to add the Twitter, we're going to get the email address, password, and we're going to form it into a div, and we're going to put it inside this div. So we're going to have as much as we want, so you can just append it. We're going to be appending it right here. So it's pretty easy. While we do it, it's going to be pretty easy for you as well to work. So yeah, that's just for the introduction, and I'm just going to be opening this in port 550. So I'm just going to open it. I'm going to say 127, and yeah, this is it. And it's just one which is not working. It's just a static page right there. Okay, so it's not going to work anyway. So now what we want to do, I want to get started with our JavaScript, where we're going to be working with the local storage and all of our stuff. Okay, so before we want that, I want to make sure I'm going to be getting done. I'm going to get the script tag. I'm going to link my script tag, and I'm going to say it's app.js. Okay, I got the app.js, and now we can just get started with the app.js. Alright guys, now as we have actually linked our JavaScript file, we can get started with it. So yeah, now basically what we want is, I said it's gonna submit. This form is simply gonna be submitting. So we wanna basically get all of this input, and it'll basically get all of the input once the file is actually submitted, or the form is actually submitted. For that, what we want to do is we want to get it right. We want to just check whether it's submitting. So what I want to do, I want to get the document, I'm going to get the query selector. Okay, so I'm going to get it from the DOM, and as you guys can see, we have for the form we have a class of form sign-in. So I'm going to get this class. Okay, I'm just going to paste it because it's a class there. So we're going to paste it, and we're going to add an event listener. Okay, event listener. And if anyone actually submits anything on that, okay, something like this, I want to run a function. Okay, for now we just run a simple function like this, and we want to say console or log, and we will say, hey, it's working. Okay, we'll just put it like that, and we'll just save it up there. Okay, and now if I inspect this, and if I just see in the console whether it's working, if I click add, okay, it actually comes. It's actually going to be coming, but it's actually blocking. It's because as the form submits, the whole page refreshes. So it's actually working. I can show you guys, but before even that, we want to as we submit, we want to create a function. We just want a function, and we want to save infos. This is the infos, meaning the information. So this is the function that we're going to be having, so which is called save info. Okay, So now I'm just gonna create the function right below. I'm gonna say save info, okay, and set this. I want to just console.log, hey, it's working, okay, and it should be inside quotes. All right, so now if I add it's actually refreshing, so you can't see anything. It is actually coming right here. It's actually logging, but it's refreshing at the time. So what you want to do, want to prevent this whole submission. So what I want to do, I want to put e there, which is basically an event. So I want to put e, and I want to say prevent. I want to say prevent default, okay. It's very hard for me to type as well as fill it. So you want to say prevent default, okay. You want to say prevent default, okay. And yeah, but now if you say it, if you click add, then you're gonna see, hey, it's working. It's because once it submits, it's gonna refresh the whole page, so it's not gonna work as it's there, but you can't see it. But now, as I can click as much as I want, and it's gonna output me, hey, it's working. So yeah, it's done, guys. So we don't actually want this. Now what we want this is actually, guys, we want to get whatever values put inside this, okay. So we'll actually get it. So I'm gonna say const, I'm gonna call this social media, okay. And I'm gonna get this by saying document dot query selector, and inside this, as we saw, it has an ID of input social, okay. So when I say it has an ID of input social, okay. So if it's a class, you can put a dot in front of it, and get the job done. So it's actually input social, and you want to get the input social, but if it's okay, so just copy this, paste, sorry, I just want to paste it right there, okay. And now this one, what I'm gonna call is, it's gonna be email, and this is gonna be input email, okay. And this one is gonna be password, and this is gonna be input, and it's gonna be input password, okay. And it's gonna be as simple as it is. So guys, now we have all of this, but actually if I just console this log, okay, I'll just log this and show you guys. If I just console this log, just the social media, okay. So if I just show you this, and if I click add, it's just gonna give me the whole thing, like the whole div, whatever, with an ID of where is it, input social. It's just gonna console the whole element, this one. So we don't want that, we just want the values inside that. For that, you can just strip it like that, okay. You can just say value as that's what you need. So you want to copy this, paste it up, and paste it right there. Now if you save it, and for the social media, I'm going to face Twitter, email address, some sort of an email, and password, some sort of password. And if I add, then I'm getting Twitter, which is actually console.log, the social media. Now if you want the email, all of it, it would console.log. I can show you guys, okay, quickly. So okay, I'm gonna go inside that, email and password, okay. Save it, and I'll put some sort of a password, and we click add. So I'm getting the social media, the email, and this password. So it's all working, it's getting all the information. Alright guys, as you know, it's working. Now what we want to do is we want to put all of this inside an object, okay. So as you might ask, why we want to put all of this in an object, but once we go further, you'll pretty much understand why we actually need it inside an object, okay. So we want to have an object. I'm going to call this info, okay, and you want to get an object, and I'm gonna put the social media, put to a social media, and actually like map this out to a social media. Now this is what we create, okay. Now just don't get confused. Now I can put social media value, anything. I can put any kind of an information right there, and I can say this social media value inside the info object is actually equal to this social media, this one. So this is actually the important thing right here. So you can have it in the same name. If this is even social media, you can have it as social media, but anytime you want to fetch anything from this info, you want to use this name, because you map this one to this one. So basically this and this is just going to be equal. So as it's like that, you can just have it in the same name, there's no issue. Okay, so then we want to have the email, map this up. As I said, you can have in the same name, and also the password, you can map this out to the password. Okay, pretty easy. Now we just log this out and see, log the info. Okay, something like that. I can have Twitter, I can have email. I just thought of a password, and if I add it, there we go, we get an object, and inside the object we have email is ratudan@gmail.com, password is some sort of a password, and then we get our social media, which is Twitter. So it's pretty easy. So if you, so yeah, so it's pretty easy. Now if you want only to get this gmail address, whatever is inside this info object, so you can say you only want this email, not the social media, not the password. So you can just say dot email, that's simply it. And now you can put any password, all of the information are filled, but when you click add, you only get this email. It's because when you're working with objects, it's pretty easy to get information from that, so that's why we work it like that. Okay, so we use info and we just get the email out of it. So I just wanted to show you a quick demo how objects work and how you can grab data or information from objects. Alright guys, now as you guys can see, now we are able to get all kind of all the information. As we saw in the console, we can get everything. So now what I want is actually to actually have this stored locally inside inside our Firefox local storage. Actually Google has its own local storage, which is locally presented in every web browser. So I'm just gonna store it in Firefox. Obviously because it's actually open in Firefox, it will store inside Firefox. So you can go to storage right here, and you have to go to local storage, and this is the file we are actually running, this port, the local server which is open. Okay, so it has no value, but once we put it's just gonna have a value. Okay, so yeah, so now we're going to work with local storages. No, before, if you're not worked with local storage now, it's actually completely fine. It's because it's very easy to work with local storage. You just want to get items, set the item and stuff like that. So it's pretty easy, I would say. Okay, so now this is how we do it. Okay, so now I'm gonna get an if condition. Okay, and I'm gonna check local storage. You want to tweak, or you want to just change this up a bit to actually work like this. So I'm gonna get the local storage, and I'm gonna get the item. I'm gonna get the item called infos. Okay, there's no item called infos, there's nothing. Okay, so okay, we have nothing inside that. So we will actually create it, but for now we just assume that there's nothing. Obviously we want to get the item called infos, information, which is just infos, like a plural form, infos. You want to get this item, and if this is actually equals to null, then what we want to do is we're just creating something called infos now. Okay, so get item infos, if that's actually null. Actually, as you guys can see, if I come right there, I can come right down. So which has we're gonna basically we're creating something called infos, and we want to just say this is a array. Okay, and this is why we're going to be doing this, how we're going to be doing it. So we have an info array called infos. So basically in the first place we are checking whether we have something called info. So we have nothing in our local storage. So let me just delete all here. Okay, so nothing is presented here. Okay, so what I want is if local storage dot get infos is actually null, so it's actually null because there's nothing called infos. Okay, so then I want to just get the infos array, whatever I did. So I want to get infos dot push it. Okay, push, and inside this array I want to push this whole object. Okay, so why I do it, because I can have multiple objects inside this, so it's pretty easy for me. Okay, I'm just going to say, I want to say infos. I want to push this info, which is an object right here. I'm going to get the whole thing, and I'm just going to put it inside this array. Okay, So now we just log it like that, log the infos, which is the array. If I log it, we can check it in the console. Click OK, which is an array which has an email of Twitter. Twitter, we have an email of Rasudan, password of nothing because I didn't have any password. You can have it. So social media of Twitter. Okay, so that's how it is. So actually guys, now we have all of it, and this one object is gonna be inside this. Now this is actually the index of 0. This whatever we inputted is just going to be the index of 0. The first object is going, info object is going to be 0, index of 0 in info. So if you add more, it's going to be index 1, index 2. So it's pretty easy for us to get the whatever index you want from the particular array and get the information whatever, like I mentioned, dot email, dot password, anything inside that. So like we'll just work on it. So yeah, we'll just get rid of this. Okay, so now what we want to do, so as we push this, now what we want to do is to actually set the item. Now you want to get, say, local storage dot set item. Okay, and now I want to set this particular item called infos. Now it's what we're going to be creating this. Set the item called infos, and I want to say JSON dot stringify, and I'm just gonna say why I do it. So I'm gonna say infos input. So this is just because we're gonna work with JSON file. In order to store this into local storage, you want to change the whole infos. Now if you just hover over it, they'll actually give you great information. Converts JavaScript value to a JavaScript object notation. So yeah, local storage is simply stores JSON values, like JavaScript object notation values, like JSON values. So you can't straight away put all of your information in local storage. So actually to do it, you wanna convert this to a JavaScript object notation or JSON sort of a data JSON file, and then put this inside local storage. So that's what we are having this infos, or you can just have infos, and we just have this infos pass saying JSON dot stringify, and then we put this info. So that's what we do it. Okay, so then now we just save it up like that. Now we can put whatever values password. I'm just going to put Raj 6000, and I just want to add it. I'm going to go for the storage, and if I see here, we have a key value called infos. Okay, infos, and then we have a social. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. Okay, as you guys can see, and now we have infos. We have social media of Twitter, email, this one, and a password of 6000. So how much you refresh this, it's always going to be presented in this inside Mozilla Firefox. Obviously this web engine's local storage, which is a JSON file. Okay guys, now it's actually there, but as you guys can see, we only check where the info is null and then we store it. But if it's not null, for in this case, now this is not null because inside infos we have some information. Okay, but now if I just get this, and if I say Facebook, and if I put the same email address, some sort of password, okay, I'll put Raj 6000 something, and if I add it, it wouldn't get added. It's because we only checking if local storage infos is equals to null, and if it's null, just do it, or else we didn't pass any values. So in order to get that, what we want to do, if it's not equals to null, we just want to change the function a bit. So then you want to put the else statement, else you else as info is actually created right here, which is a object, which is a JSON file. We want, as it's actually created, you don't really need to get the item. You don't really want to get the, we want to get the item in a different way, but we don't really want to create the infos again. Okay, so we have it up here, which is an array. So JavaScript actually knows it's an array, so we just want to get this, simply get the whole. So it's local storage, is not session storage. We're just working with local storage, so it's sort of a complicated, it's just confusing. Okay, so now we have social media, Ratsudan, and password 6000. Now what we want to say, we want to get this infos, we want to get the whole infos, like with the key of infos. So how you get it, we're going to get this from local storage. So how you actually get it is actually you have to you want to create this again, infos, because we're going to use it. you can, because we're going to use this again inside the code, so that's what I'm creating a variable. So I'm just going to say infos, and I want to say as before we said, you want to get this from local storage dot get item. So this is how you get an item, and I want to say infos. Okay, so this is how you get the item. But if you see it right now, it's how much you see it right now, it wouldn't work. It's because, as I said before, this is a JSON file, and if you want to this is a JavaScript file, which is obviously transferred to a JSON file. Now if you just get this infos into JavaScript, it's just going to give you the JSON file. In order for you to actually use it as a JavaScript file, you have a function, which is a built-in function. You just want to change it. So this is how we do it. You want to just wrap this up in a function, brackets first of all. Yeah, obviously wrap this up in a function, and we're just gonna say json.parse. Okay, so now as you guys can, if I hover over it, this will say converts JavaScript object notation to a string object, where, as I said before, this one is actually changing this to a json.stringify. It's actually changing this to a JavaScript JSON file. Okay, simply JSON file, and this one is just really converting the JSON file to a JavaScript string object file, so which is pretty simple. Okay, now we want to change it. Now we have the information, so we just want to say infos dot push it. Okay, and now we want to push the info, which info is this one right there, this whole object. Okay, we just push the info, and now we also have another thing. Once you get the JavaScript file, all of it, if you actually set with that, we also have another job to do, which is actually, you get it, and you can't just keep it. You want to return something, or you just want to set it back. You want to get it and actually set it back. So we're gonna just copy this. We're just gonna do the same thing. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this and I'll paste it, and once I save it, it's pretty done. So now I can put Facebook, as now we have Twitter and all for Facebook, and put some sort of an email, say like Raj 6000 again, and if I add it, now as you guys can see, we have added something else, which is okay, yeah, it's actually added. I can't see it. Okay, I'm just gonna make it a bit bigger, and now you can see it, guys. We have email, that's one value, and then another one we have social media, Facebook, the whatever stuff we added. So you can add as much as you want. You can add Instagram, you can have the same email address, you can have the same password, and if I add it, it's gonna add the same thing. So right here, now we have Instagram as well right there. Okay, so if I get this, okay, so this is object 2, which is Facebook, and object 2 we have Instagram, and object 0 we have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So it's pretty much there. Everything is actually working right now. Okay, so now like the 35% of the stuff is actually done. It's because now we have storing everything. We just stored all of it, and it's pretty much done. Now it's our job to just fetch it up and put it into the div and do all sort of that stuff. Okay, so now we wanna simply have another function which is gonna fetch simply fetch whatever information that is inside the local storage. Okay, so now I'm gonna create this function. So I'll just call this function fetch infos. Okay, I'm gonna have this function called fetch infos, and simply, guys, now I just wanted to give you guys like a basic logic in this. Okay, so now we only save the bookmark once we click on this ad, or once this this form submit is where you basically save the whole bookmark. Okay, so if you so that's just the logic of that. But if you want to fetch any bookmark, the simple logic behind this is that on the load, as the system loads, or the website loads, or the application loads, you want to be able to fetch it up right at that point. So refresh is like the same loading, so it's just on load you want to just fetch it up. So in that, we want to just go for the body, and I want to say onload. Okay, unload. So when the whole application loads itself, you want to fetch anything inside that. So we want to run a function called fetch infos. Okay, and I want to put the function. Okay, so which is a fetch infos, and if you just see, it's gonna show you an error for now. But yeah, we can just console the log anything we want. We'll just say hello. Okay, so if you see right there, we have hello. So once the file loads or the application loads, it's gonna simply save it up, run this function. So guys, what we want inside this is, as I said before, you now as it's actually fetching, you wanna get whatever inside this local storage. So you want to go for the local storage and you want to fetch whatever inside this. So for you to fetch a JSON file, you simply want to convert it, right, so into a JavaScript file. So I want to say let infos, okay, and I want to say json.parse. So what we actually did up there, okay, json.parse, and now we want to get the local storage dot get the item. Okay, so as I said, if you get it, you actually want to set it. So yeah, first now we're actually getting the item, and which has a key of infos, okay, right there. So we want to get something called infos. And now what I want to do, I want to let this up, and now what I simply want to do is, guys, now whatever is inside this, like whatever inside this, I want to display right here on this page itself, as I said before. So you can do document or write whatever, but I have a separate different called the infos result. So I'll put any information what I get from the local storage inside this. So I want to get that as well. So I'm going to say let infos results, sorry, so I'm going to say document dot query selector, okay, and inside this I actually gave it a ID of infos results. So I'm gonna get that right there and put it, okay. So now it's fine. Now what you can do, guys, you want to get this info results, and you want to get the inner HTML, you want to put like that, and you can put a simple colon like that to say that we're going to input some sort of a div or anything. So if you have something like this, you can append as much as you want. Now you can put whatever value, you can just put hello there. So it's going to get hello. So then putting hello, what I'm going to do is to get whatever inside this local storage right there. So I'm going to get whatever is inside this local storage and replace it with where the hello is presented. Actually in a very beautiful way. So we're going to use CSS to that. So I'm just going to leave this blank for now. And what I'm going to do is I just want to loop through all of this local storage. I want to just check, I want to get all of the objects. So as in an array, you can get index 1 and you can put it inside this, put it inside the web page, and then get index 2 and put it inside the web page. So you can do all of those stuff. So what I want to do right now is I want to get the as I said, I want to loop through it, right? So I want to get for, so I'm going to put for, I'm going to just put an I there, so just get some calculations just to loop through it. So you can put any I hope you have to know the basics of these loops and how to work with local storage, because it's kind of like the next step. So if you haven't, I'll leave a link for a video that it's a pretty good video. So for let I is equals to 0, and I want to run this function until the I is actually less than the infos dot length. Okay, so I want to run it, and until that, and I just want to add I plus 1, okay, to change the index from 0 to 1. And you want to know this stuff. So index or any one of my plus I plus 1. Now what I want to do, I want to get the social media, okay. I'm just gonna say social media is actually equals to the infos, which is this array, and inside this array we have an object. So the first object is going to have an index value of 0, and the second object will have an index value of 1 and stuff, okay, right there. I can show you guys if you want to right here. I just want to make sure it's pretty big, okay, right now. So inside this infos array we have object 0, object 1. So the object 0 we have Twitter there, and object 2 we have Facebook. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's social media, So we just created something called social media, and inside this we want to get whatever social media inside this. So we're going to loop, we just simply loop it, right? So for that, what we want to say inside I, for now I is actually 0, so it's going to get the first object, which is going to be the Twitter. Okay, so it's going to be I, and now as it's an object, I can, as I said before, I can say social media. So it's going to fetch this up, whatever value inside this, it's going to present it up there. Okay, let's just refresh this up there. Okay, so now we can say that's for the social media, and now we can just do the same thing, copy that, paste it, and this one I'm just going to say this is going to be for the email, and info one, and this is going to be for the other email, and this is going to be for the password, and this is going to be dot password. Okay, so basically the default it's 0, so it's going to get all this Twitter, all this information. And once this done, obviously I is actually less than the infos dot length, because as you guys can see, the length is 3. Okay, so until it's actually less than 3 or equals to 3, less than or equals to 3, it will do the job. Okay, right there. So it's so yeah, we're gonna get the password, and now what I want to do, I want to get the info results which I created up there, and I want to get the inner HTML. Okay, and now I want to add stuff to this. Okay, now I just simply want to add simple stuff to this. Okay, and yeah, whatever I want. Now you can just put whatever values you want for them. You can just straight away say social media. So if you just save it up like that, it's gonna give you Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So if you want not only social media, or if we can just add this with email. Okay, so if I save it, then you get Twitter, then ratan60.com, Facebook, as whatever information is there. So you can just do it straight away like this, but I just don't want it to be like this. I just want it to be pretty beautiful, and customized with some CSS, so it's pretty nice. Okay, so we're going to use some classes as well. So now I'm going to put this backstrip because I'm using ES6. So if you're going to use this and you put the plus marks, completely fine. So we just use ES6. Okay, so I'm going to put a div. All of this is actually HTML code. Okay, so I'm going to create a div. Okay, and inside this div, okay, I'm just going to break this up and put it right here. Okay, right there. And now is that right there? Okay, so whatever. And now what I want is, guys, for this I actually want to add a class. For this div I want to have a class. I'm just going to do this quick. I have my code right there. So for this class I'm going to give margin top of 3. Okay, margin top of 3. These are classes. Okay, so it's not going to change any of your JavaScript code or anything. It's just simple classes. Width of 95%. Now this is bootstrap, right? So margin y, which is like the left and the left, or the upper side of it, so which is going to be 3 y, and I want to say margin is going to be auto. I want to say m3 is auto, and then I'm going to say I want to have a p/3, which is I want to give a simple padding. And now inside this I want to have a h4. Okay, let me just get this right there. Okay, and this I want to have a h4. Okay, I'm just going to say h4 like that, and I'm just close this h4 as well. And now why is that? Okay, so this one, no, sorry, this one. Okay, now this h4, I want to give this h4 a class. Okay, so this I want to give it a class, and inside this class I'm going to say background is going to be primary, which is going to be a blue color. Background is going to be primary. Okay, so background is going to be primary, and it's going to be jumbotron, just to get a beautiful curve inside that. And it's all styling, guys, no JavaScript code. It's just, if you want it ugly, you can just simply put the social medias here. So I just want to be it's sort of like a very beautiful. I just want this to be pretty customized and beautiful. Okay, and now what I want, just get all of this right here. Okay, as now text of it is going to be color white, and inside h1 just put it like this, because I'm going to have a lot of stuff. And right here what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my social media, which is right here. So for that for you want to put just to escape from the backticks, you want to put dollar sign and you want to put curly brackets. So now you can put social media right there, okay, which is a social media. And now I'm gonna get the I'm gonna have a tag, okay, right there. I'm gonna have a tag, and for this a tag I'm gonna have a class, okay. So inside this class I'm just gonna have it's gonna be a button, okay. So button btn slash warning, which is gonna be yellow color, btn warning. I want mx to be 3, my to be 3 as well, okay. And text I want to be dark, okay. And now inside this, what I'm going to be having is, as I said before, I'm going to escape the backticks, and I want to have the email, okay. And simply as that, just copy that and paste it, and this is going to be the same thing. Rather than email, I want to get my password, okay. Pretty simple. And now what we want to do, you also want to have a delete button. My god, what happened? Okay, we also wanted to have a delete button, okay. So I'm just going to have a tag for that as well. So yeah, so say a to it and close it up. And this I'm just gonna give it a class of, yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's gonna be, yeah, I'm gonna say btn slash, it's gonna be a small button, and inside that button slash danger, which is gonna be a red color, okay, danger. And then we also have a margin of 2, simple as that. And you want to name this delete, okay. Now what I want to do, it's going to be a delete button, of course, right? So what I want to do, once anyone clicks on this delete button, I want to run a function. Once anyone clicks on the delete button, obviously I want to run a function. So what I want to say, I can say on click, okay, on click I want to run a function called delete infos. So you want to have a delete button to delete infos. So that I want to say delete infos, and I want to pass the unique values which is set. Now in JavaScript like this, now I can just put some sort of a social media here. So this is a done version, okay, done version. Put some password, I'll put it there, and I'll get rid of this. I'll put sort of like Facebook or something, I'll put, okay. So now in this case, for example, I just want you guys to get the logic is that now if I want to delete this, it's just not going to work. Just because I click on this, it's just not going to delete this div. So how I want to get is, for this div, you want to see whether you have a unique value, okay. So in this for a unique value, the unique value is actually now actually the unique value you might be thinking is a password, but password is not logically right. It's because like an individual person could have the same password for all of the accounts. So that's right. And also the email is also can't be possible. It's because you can have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, obviously in the same email account, but the Twitter, the social media, is like very unique. They're taking into consideration is the individual person is actually using one social media per account. I mean, like a lot of social media per account, but just one social media. Like Twitter, meaning he only has one Twitter account, or Facebook, just one Twitter account, okay. So in that case, the Twitter, Facebook, or even Instagram is actually the most well, how could I say, the most unique one. So, okay, so that's what I able to delete. I can get the unique value with Facebook, and anything with that div I can just delete it like that. So that's how I'm able to do it, okay. So yeah, just deleted that. So in our email manager, that's what we're going to be doing as well. So I want to delete the info. So in order to delete the infos, when we click on that, as I showed you guys before, just put a password. Once we click on that, we want to pass something. We want to pass the unique value. So in this case, it's going to be Instagram, it's going to be social media. For that, you want to pass something. So you want to put a bracket, okay, and you put a string mark and you want to pass this as a string, and you want to put escape the backtricks, and you want to pass the social media. So this is going to pass the social media, whatever social media here is actually clicked. If I click delete in Instagram, it will just pass Instagram, okay, something like that. So now that we have done, just save it up, and there we go. Now whatever information is here, it's just represented right up here. So even when I click delete, nothing is just gonna happen actually. In the console you can see delete info is actually not defined. Yeah, we'll just do it. So yeah, now it's pretty easy. Now we have got all the information, we have done it, and it's all represented. Now our job is just to simply, delete the infos. So what I want to do is to create a function up here above fetch infos. Okay, you can have it anyway. I'm just gonna going in order. So I'm gonna say delete infos. Okay, this is gonna be the function, and inside this I want to just we're gonna get a social media. Okay, whatever passed here, whatever is passed here, it's just what we're gonna be getting right here. Okay, and now what I want to say, I'll just console or log the social media. To be fair, console or log the social media which is passed. Okay, now if I inspect this element, and if I go to the console, now if I click on delete of Facebook, it will give me Facebook, and if I click the delete button of Twitter, it will give me Twitter, and if I click the delete button of Instagram, I get the Instagram. Now I know now which div I'm clicking, or the person is clicking. Now it's pretty easy for me to just delete that div. So what I want is basically get that infos from the local storage. So I want to get the infos, I want to get the infos equals, and I say I want to JSON, actually turn the JSON file to a object, JavaScript object, and I'm going to say local storage dot get item. I want to get the dot get item, okay, and get item, and I want to pass, which is I want to get something called a key of infos, which has some data. So you want to get infos, which is this one. We got it. And now what we want to do, we want to loop through this. So we're going to do the same thing what we did for this one. So I just copied this, only this line, okay, and now I'm going to paste it. So let I equals 0, okay, and we want to say run it until it's less than the length, and we just plus it, okay, which is a simple thing, for loop. And now I'm going to check it, okay, I'm just going to check it if the infos with a index of I, which is now it's 0 but it will loop, it's I dot social media. Now because this is the social media, which is like the unique one, I can show you right in a storage, local storage right here. Now let's make it a bit bigger. Now as you guys can see right here, now in the info 0 in the object dot social media is actually equal to Twitter. So now if I click the Twitter, it will console log, it's not going to console log because I deleted that, because it is actually having that information of social media. So if it's Twitter, it's Twitter, and if I click Facebook and if it's Twitter, then it wouldn't even come inside this. So what I want, if it's actually infos, it's actually equal to the social media, this one, if this social media is equal to this social media, then okay, wait, there is a mistake. Okay, yeah, this one. Okay, then I want to run something. What I want, if that's actually equal to that, I want to get the infos dots, and you want to remove that, right? So we have a command called splice, and splice it with the current iteration, and with the current iteration of 1, okay, with the number of 1 with the current iteration of 1. Okay, so whatever inside this, like this I, we want to splice that by 1. Okay, this info, so if it only matches, because that's kind of like the unique thing right there. So now what we can do is come right here, so I put it right there. Now if I delete Twitter, but it's not going, but if I once I refresh it, it's still there. Okay, so what's an issue there? Infos is equal to the social media. All right, so guys, actually forgot something. Like, so as I explained before, it's pretty easy, right? Like you want to just get the infos, and you want to splice this up. So even though you splice this up, it's not, this JSON file is just not going to change. It's because it's a JSON file. Okay, we just did it in the JavaScript one. So if you, as I said before, if you get an item, you always want to set an item. So we want to jump off down with the loop. We just want to come down, we just want to exit the loop. We want to get the local storage, and you want to set the item. And now you want to get the infos, which has obviously key value infos. And now we want to put it to JSON.string if I want to convert this to a JavaScript JSON object notation. And now we want to put just the infos. Okay, now if you save this up, now if I want to delete Instagram, delete Twitter for example, and if I refresh that, Twitter is actually gone. And now if I want to delete Instagram, if I click on that, it's not gonna delete, but if I refresh that, it's gone. So what I want is that, like for example, we just add Instagram again. So we just say some sort of password Raj 6000 something, add, and now if I refresh it, it's actually added. So what I actually want is, guys, we want this delete infos. Like once we delete this infos, we just want to call this fetch infos function. It's because once we delete it, we have set this JSON fetch dot info, sorry, why am I blabbering, just this fetch infos to in the index.html. We have actually set it on load, so every time we refresh is what it's gonna fetch it. But what we also want to say inside this delete infos, once this takes place, once the delete infos is completed, we want to run again a function called fetch infos. Okay, and if you do it like that, now you want to delete it. So once I delete Facebook, now it's gone. It's because once we delete this, fetch infos is running, so it's going to grab anything inside that, and it's going to create a div and put it like that. And now we also want to run we want to put this fetch infos inside our save. It's because once we save, well, we have, now we're just going to get Instagram. I'm going to put Twitter there, and I put some password Raj 666. And if I add it, it's not going, it is added, but once we refresh, it's coming there. So in order to fetch it up, once we save it, you also want to run this function called fetch infos. I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna put it right there, which is, we have this function called save info, and I want to come down and put it inside prevent default. Okay, and now if you do it like that, now I can delete Twitter, and I'll put the password of Raj 6000, and if I add it, now we have Twitter also. So yeah, like 100% is actually, like 99% of it is actually done. Now you can add as much as you want. Now I can put Facebook and same password, and if I add it, yeah, there we go, we have Facebook. So it's 100% of it, 99% is actually done. Now obviously you can delete this as much as you want, so it's all done. Okay, so now what's actually the only thing that we actually want to change, I'm just gonna get rid of all of this. Okay, what I wanted to change is that, guys, now I just now if there's no information, and if I just click add, there's gonna be an empty div added. So I just don't want that to happen. Okay, so what I want is, I'm gonna go over right there in save info, and what I wanted to do is I wanna pass an if condition, and I want to say if not of social media, if the social media is actually empty, and you want to put two double ends, and if the email is also empty, and even the password is empty, we want to alert the user saying please fill the form correctly. Okay, I want to say it like that. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, so now if I you can see what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to refresh it. So if I click add, you get a form like this. You're gonna get a model, and it's gonna say please fill the form correctly. But if I click OK, it's still just gonna form a sort of a empty div. So what I want to do, obviously, if you want to just simply just return a false there. Okay, you just return false. So if you return false here, if JavaScript actually sees recognize that you have returned false, it's not going to run the whole function itself, which once you return false, it's just going to block, it's not going to do anything more. It's just going to stop right here. It's not going to create anything, and it's going to jump out, and if you jump out and end the function itself. So now I'm just going to delete it, refresh it. Now if I click add, I'm going to click OK, and now it's not added. Now it's just because JavaScript has blocked the whole function. And now our application is 100% working. You can put whatever you want. You want to put Twitter, raj6@gmail.com, and I'm gonna put password. I'll put raj6000. Definitely these are not my passwords. These are my Gmail accounts, but these are not my password, obviously. So now we have this. So don't try anything out even if you want, guys. So we're gonna go Facebook, and the same password and stuff. So we have Facebook, and we're gonna have Instagram with the same password, and now we have all of this. Now if you don't want Facebook, you can just delete it like that, so it's not also going to work. So yeah guys, that's just it for the video. And I also said I used Bootstrap, so I'll leave the link for the Bootstrap files, whatever I used in Bootstrap. So I have a local file, but you can just apply the CDN itself and have the same class to get something like this. You don't need to have a file. You just only need and this favicons, you don't need anything, right? You just can't delete the whole thing, but it just came with all of this just came with the file itself, so nothing wrong in that. So that's just it, guys. Hopefully you guys kind of really learned something in this video. We did a bit of a bit of basics, because normally I just do those calculators, currency converters, and in this video we actually learned how to build actually a sort of a real world project where you store stuff store and do quite a lot of stuff. And guys, one thing I want to so, and also one thing I want to say, if I just copy this and if I just go to Google and if I just paste it up, okay, this is the local storage which is saved in Google. So even if I refresh it, so even if I refresh in this is the local storage for sort of Firefox. So Mozilla Firefox, so whatever is saved here, so whatever is saved in Google, like Google doesn't have anything because I haven't saved anything in Google. So both of them would have a different local storage. So if you have done all the files here, and if you want to test it, if you have somehow bought it here, and if some of your files are missing or something like that, just don't worry. It's just because I'm storing only in the Mozilla's for what could I say, Mozilla's local storage, as I feel Mozilla to use it. So you can use in whatever browser you're using, even in Explorer. If you want to use, you can do it. So guys, that's good. It's for the video, guys. I have all my social medias if you want to follow me, and if you want to see what am I doing, and if you want to subscribe and be ready for the next course, which is actually going to be a Bootstrap theme website. I'll be doing, it's going to be like 2-3 days out. But yeah, if you're for following this video in the future, I'll leave it in the description. And I also have the Bootstrap, all of the code for this video down in the description, and also the files. So yeah guys, that's just it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the subscriptions, likes, comments, and I'm so happy to make more tutorials like this. And if you just feel we have learned something in the video, just comment it down below. I'd love to hear that I've helped someone. So yeah guys, that's just it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.